this one thing is holding you back from improving your editing. It's kept you lazy, it's kept you standard, and it's held you in your place whilst you watch your peers and other editors thrive. Now you're probably wondering what it is, and it's quite a controversial one because a lot of people would argue otherwise, and I'm here to prove every single one of them wrong. You ready? Presets. Presets are holding you back from becoming better. Now, why? Why is that the case? Let me explain. Now, presets were designed for convenience, but instead they've managed to keep you lazy. The ease of applying presets has caused you to lose all motivation to have to create new effects. Now, there's a lot that comes with this, and I'm going to break it down right now. So, presets were designed because when you edit, you have like a time span, you have a timeline of delivery and starting. And from here till here, it's been hard to deliver the video and make it good. So what do? You bring presets into the equation. You bring presets into the equation because it's like, okay, I can have good effects, but it'll save me time because I won't have to do them. And that's great. But then over time, okay, as time goes by, you will start to realize that you no longer have the constraint of time. Because even with editing in general, and especially if you stick with clients, your workflow gets faster and faster and faster and faster. It becomes second nature to you to make every single cut, every single change, every single little detail in your workflow becomes easier and easier and easier. So your problem will no longer be time. Your problem will be quality. And in fact, you will get a little bit bored. You know, think about it. How often do you get bored or burnt out, or do you feel lost? And you often probably feel like you can't really improve in editing. And it's because of presets. You see, it sounds like such a beautiful deal. Being able to, just apply good effects with a click of a button. But over time, it's no longer about convenience. It's just about reliance. Think about it this way. Let's say you are a level 1 editor, okay? And then you go buy an editing pack, right? You spend a bit of bucks and you go buy yourself an editing pack and you're like, okay, no, it's all good because here's what can happen. That's the wrong one. Here's what can happen. I can just pay for this editing pack and then I can get good really fast. I can go from a level 1 editor to a level 5 editor. And let's say this editing pack is level 10 standard, right? But because obviously you're not experienced enough to be level 10, this editing pack can only take you so far. So you are now, present day, you are now a level 5 editor with a level 10 editing pack. Now the problem is, you now rely on this editing pack. You now rely on this, let's just make this like a big box, You now rely on this little pack of yours to, make good effects. So then what would happen if I were to take away this glorious little pack of yours? If I were to take it away and we no longer had it anymore, then you would no longer be level 5 editor. You'd go back down to level 1 and you can't afford to have that. So what you do is you just stick to it, and you stick to it forever and ever and ever, because the pain of knowing that losing the pack, losing the presets will make you bad as ever, because you never put in the time to invest in yourself, your skills, your knowledge to actually become a good editor. And that pain of having to be a bad one for a short while is going to hurt. And when you start editing for your clients are going to be like, what is going on? Why is my editor so bad? Fired. And then all these thoughts start coming into your head that you're a fraud, or you're not good at your job, or yada, 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 yada. The clients don't like you. Okay. But point being is, you'll never allow this to happen. So you ride on the coattails of this one pack, or this one preset, or this, if I gave you presets, you would probably love it, but it would keep you would go so good, so fast, but you'd never progress. You just sort of plateau, you'd sit there. And I know editors like this. I know editors who've probably started, same time as me, bit after me. I know editors who started recently. I know editors who started before me and fallen for this trap. Their progress skyrockets, but it plateaus and it stays because they'll never, ever, ever give up their presets. So at some point, you've got to realize that you must evolve. You must create more. And it's now to the point where your skill isn't something you leverage. Your knowledge isn't something you leverage. Your reputation isn't something that you leverage. It's your time that you're leveraging. So let's say you were to start making like good money, right? From this client or from other clients, because you have all these presets that save you time. You can make between like 5 to 10K per month. Ooh, big money, nice money. Okay, now I don't usually like talking about money on the channel, but let me just put it into perspective for you. Okay, you could probably start making good money, but the second you're like, okay, boss, I'm sick, I need to take a break. He's like, I can't have that. You see, this YouTube channel, it's a machine, it's an engine, it's a business. It needs to be continuously operating, otherwise it dies. I can't have that happen. So what does he do? He hires another editor, because the great thing about you, the great thing about you is that you had these presets, you had this pack, you were good at giving away your time. But the second you don't have time, or the second you want time for yourself, your client's like, no, that's not how we do things around here. Okay? He goes and hires someone else, and by the time you're back, he's like, I don't know, man, he kind of does a better job than you, and he gets paid less, so I think I'm going to have to let you go. And that's like a bit of a wild situation. I have no idea how often that'll happen. But the point is like, you don't want your source of leverage to be your time. Because imagine this, you say you want to get into editing because you don't want to have a boss, right? But then your entire life, your entire income is controlled by your time. If you're not clocking in and clocking out at the exact same times every single day, you've lost your leverage, right? So you need to start leveraging your skill. You need to start leveraging your quality. You need to start leveraging what you're best at. But you can't do that. You want to kind of ask yourself, how often do you find yourself going back to the same techniques? How often do you make the same work? This was my old work, right? It was nothing but like these gradient backgrounds, the paper backgrounds, these fat fonts, Montserrat, Helvetica, Mont, Gotham, all of like Kamika Sans, all of these different fonts with just the stroke. And I never got creative. I just spammed the presets so I could be Mr. Level 5 editor, right? But never was I actually satisfied. I had to, at some point, move forwards. And there's a lot of editors that fall for this trap that never move forwards. You're very constrained. It's so weird. The very problem you had at the beginning, your time, will now become the very thing that you leverage. The one thing that you kind of like ride until the very end, right? You'll become one of those editors that, edits the same like Roblox videos for $100 for like 10 different clients, and you'd be editing like 50 times a month. That just sounds so exhausting, right? So you're probably thinking, Danny, you're a big fat hypocrite. A big hypocrite. You made an editing pack and you're telling us not to use presets. I hear ya. I wouldn't make this video if I wasn't aware of the existence of my editing pack. To top it off, I actually started making a pack. I was going to eventually sell another pack for like double the price. And it was so much better. It was a much better pack. Oh my God. I made this because this sucked. Because I didn't like this. But then I started thinking, why am I even selling editing packs? I don't even use presets like that. I'll have the occasional convenient stuff like audio and stuff like convenient zooms and stuff like, maybe the compound effects that I make from time to time, like the stuff you see in my tutorials. But apart from that, I don't really use presets all that often, right? All of the stuff that I make is from scratch. It's raw. I'll create a shape and then voila, next thing you know, I've got an entire sequence. Would I tell you to buy this pack? No. Even at level 1 or level 5, no, please. Do not buy my packs. Okay, seriously, do not buy the packs. Okay, I've disbanded them. So, presets is they're not like the hell of the earth. I make a lot of videos and I talk about plugins are bad, presets are bad. There's a lot of damaging things to your editing career, but it's not about this thing that we call presets that I think is bad. I think it's the trap of believing that these things will forever help you, but at some point you need to move forward. Like, yes, you would go from level 1 to level 5, and that's great. But if you don't find a way to evolve yourself, if you don't find a way to move forward and to get better, it's just being destructive. It's the same thing with the plugins. Plugins, everyone, you'll hear a lot of editors saying that they have plugins. You'll hear a lot of like good editors saying they have plugins, and you'll think to yourself, okay, if they have it, I should get it. So then you get yourself some plugins, and you go from level 1 to level 5. But then now you have so many more problems. You can't evolve because you never even bothered to try out the vanilla regular software Premiere Pro effects or After Effects effects. You just went straight to plugins. Or hell, about this, what if you go from Premiere Pro to After Effects, but then because you've seen so many of other editors who are already on After Effects use like other plugins like Excalibur, Flow, Overlord, or like any other, like, you know, Duick Bassel or whatever. Like, if you see so many like editors on After Effects who have these plugins, and then you ask them, hey, what plugin should I get because I'm now moving to After Effects, that is a big no-no, mister. That is a big no-no. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to now move to After Effects, this entirely new foreign software to you, and instead of learning the software, you jump straight to learning the plugins? What? Really? You have this beautiful software here. You have something, you'll be able to create something here. I'm not even talking about like within After Effects. I'm talking about you can build yourself this kind of relationship and this mentality with this new software, but instead you decide, I'm going to get plugins and I'm going to learn that because that's going to make me good. That's going to get me the results. But then at some point down the line, it's just going to hurt. Everything's going to be so crushed and it's going to be so difficult for you. I'm not like some kind of plugin Nazi. I'm not some kind of preset Nazi. Understand what you're doing. It's the same thing with like, for example, like people who drink. I'm not going to say like I probably will tell you not to drink. But it's like there are people that drink and then people say, okay, drink responsibly, gamble responsibly. Granted, they have to say that because it's the law, but you kind of get what I mean. Use presets responsibly. Use plugins responsibly. Because I legitimately think these things are like drugs. They are drugs. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Presets are drugs, plugins are drugs. It's like crack cocaine. That shit will get you hooked. You'll go to level 5 and you'll never want to jump down. Please, sir, please give me some more. I've got $1 in my pocket. I'll do anything for some more preset crack. Please, I'll have some of that crack, please, sir. So if you do use presets, if you do use plugins, if you do use whatever extension to make your editing better, please do not continuously ride on that coattail for the rest of your life. Before I started editing, like as in content, before I started editing content videos, I was editing Fortnite videos. And I was editing Fortnite videos for other people for these things called Fortnite highlights. Now, here's something that I urge you to do. Here's something I desperately urge you to do. And not in the toxic sense, in the sense of you want to keep your friends and your peers accountable. Because back in the Fortnite highlight days, when somebody were to use presets, and it was so evident, you know the first thing you would see in the replies of that tweet? Preset editor. Preset editor, preset editor. Now, don't get me wrong. If you came from the Fortnite highlight scene, you know that they are bad people. They are a toxic bunch. It's not a crowd. It's not a cohort I would get myself involved in. This new space of editing is a lot less dickish. They could spot from the sheer values of your impact shakes, the sheer values of your pre-impact velocity, post-impact velocity. They could tell from your Twixtor settings, from your BCC remap settings, from your transitions, where you got these presets from, okay? And they could tell so easily. Now, I can still, maybe it's because of that, maybe it's because just in general, you can kind of spot when someone's been using a preset. I know when editors are using presets, and I can spot a preset editor from a mile away. But nobody kind of has that accountability anymore. No one says, oh my, like, no one says preset editor. And I don't urge you to go under other editors' comments and say, hey, you're a preset editor. I hate you. This is bad. But like, probably don't tell your friends, oh my God, this is such a fire edit. You did so well here. And it's just, it's just the same. They're the same thing, right? It's the same thing as the last time and the last time before that and the last time before that. Because your friend, they're not getting any better. Don't tell them that something's good because of like a certain animation. If they show you an edit and you're like, oh my God, that animation was so good. And he's like, yeah, it came from a preset. Could you imagine how fucking hurt he feels? Because you just gave him credit for something that wasn't even his. Like, you're going to see this very often. And probably you've already seen it. But when editors are posting, you'll say, okay, that's a preset editor. I've seen that preset before. If it's your boy that you keep up to date with, he's like, dude, you're using a lot of presets. You're not really improving. Tell him that. Okay? But if it's like some random guy on Twitter, please do not. I did not. I do not condone you to go and like spread hate or whatever. But point is, accountability needs to be held for editors that don't improve because they don't realize that they have this problem. They're not aware of it because they're too concerned about their time. They're too concerned about delivering for their clients right before the delivery date, and then taking more clients and more clients until they just hate their life and they hate their craft, and then they're just gonna quit editing, right? Okay, so I've coached editors who were in this very position, who were going to the same stuff, who were looking to others for help and going to the same plugins and the same presets and yada, 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 yada. And they've learned that, dude, if you just make stuff from scratch, so much better. Okay, we've got Arturo here. He went from $300 per video to $1,000 per video in 15 days. Beautiful stuff. Here's his Twitter. Go check him out. And here's another beautiful thing. When he actually posts, he gets more likes and more views. You can see here, right? More likes and more views per like Twitter post than before. And people were also noticing, how much better he's gotten. And we've got another one. We've got Hale here, who went from 400 to 670 in just 7 days. You can see his editing is improved like crazy. Drop him a follow if you haven't already, okay? And then the same thing happens again. This, that, and the other, right? Hell, he got more replies than he did likes, So you start gathering more attention from other editors and other creators. And here's the thing, right? A lot of people will tell you, don't focus on posting for editors. You don't want to, make things about editors. You want to make things about creators. But here's the thing. I have gotten so many good jobs and so many good referrals from other editors to big creators. I can work with a creator with millions of subscribers with one DM. I'll send one message and I'll probably get a very good client. Granted, it'll be, a three-man connection kind of thing, like a third party involved. But I don't care, right? Because when other editors can see how good you are, they will give you more respect and they'll think that, yeah, he's probably the guy who can get the job done. Now, these editors learned about the importance of creation and innovation. At some point, they were hooked on presets and were being held back with reliance and complacency, right? They were relying on these tools of theirs and they were being very complacent and they didn't realize they needed a bit of direction, okay? Now, if any of this sounds like you, if you genuinely feel like you're somebody who you're starting to realize makes the same work and like this gradient background stuff, and you're at a point where you're probably charging like a couple $100s per video. I don't really like where I am. I want to get better, but I don't know how. And you don't know how to get better because all you've known is presets and all you've known is like these animations and stuff that you see from other editors. And you want to kind of have results like this where your editing gets much better and you get so much more respect and a much better name with your editing and with your work, and most importantly, your mind and how people treat you for the way that you approach your craft, because that's very important. Then go to the first link below. It'll take you to a landing page. I'm going to be so real with you where you'll get in a call with me and then we can talk further, see if I can help you out. I love to help these editors. I legitimately, my favorite thing to do every Monday and Friday is to just jump on a call with these guys and build a relationship. These guys have been so fun. A lot of them have become, actually, now that I'm looking at, all these guys have become much more confident in themselves, whether that be talking or with their editing. They are all, I fucking love these guys. I'm glad they implemented the things because they're obviously getting the results. And if you want to get results like them too, book a call below and I'll see you over there. Goodbye, folks.